I am the first executive director of Audio and Braille Literacy Enhancement, who is actually blind. The organization, we go by ABLE for short, for Audio and Braille Literacy Enhancement, and we've been around for over 51 years. We started in 65. I actually have been a recipient of services since 65, and though I'm the first ABLE director, blind people have been involved with the organization for many years. I feel like really I got the job because I could do the work. I think it's a bonus for the organization that I happen to be blind. Number one, as a longtime recipient, I believe with deep passion in the mission of the organization to make material in Braille and audio formats for blind people. And I also have a connection to many blind people locally and throughout the country, so I can be on top of the changes that are happening in the field and then keep ABLE in the forefront of all those changes. And I can be a guide for the sighted staff as well in terms of how do we best work with blind people. We have a very sophisticated staff here in working with people who are blind, and I think that I'm a helpful role model for that work. Audio and Braille Literacy Enhancement has been around for over 51 years, and we formerly known as Volunteer Services for the Visually Handicapped. And our mission has not changed. Our mission is to provide alternative ways for people with print disabilities to read. And said in a more practical way, what that means is we put material, standard print material, into Braille and audio formats for blind and print disabled individuals. Anything that someone has in hand that's in standard print, we're available to put in an alternative format. It's essential that blind people have access to the same information available to the general public. We also work with people who are visually impaired, print disabled, and people with physical disabilities who cannot read standard print for whatever reason, whether it be not being able to hold a book and or some other physical handicap that keeps people from reading standard print. Our main clientele are people who are blind or visually impaired, but we certainly have a broader mission as well. ABLE is doing Braille and audio work every single day, all day long. And what I find our biggest challenge to be is keeping up with deadlines. We are working in an environment where we might get something that's due the same week, the same day, or early the next morning. And our challenge is to make sure that we have enough resources to make that happen. And in our organization, besides the tools, computers, Braille embossers, audio equipment, our resources are staff and volunteers. So we're working to make sure that we have the complement of volunteers and staff so that we can get that immediate work done. And we're always challenged to find the volunteers that we need to work with our staff. And in fact, we're really needing tactile graphic artists right now as volunteers. And our goal is to make sure that our mission happens in a practical way, and that is that standard print is in the hands in an alternative format for blind people, and that means really tight turnaround times on a regular basis. One of our greatest needs right now is to have a volunteer who can be a tactile graphic artist, and what I mean by that is we do tactiles, and that's drawings that we make in a tactile form so that blind children can have tactiles of biology, chemistry, and math graphs, and all kinds of other tactiles that a sighted child will see in their math or science book. So we need somebody who is comfortable on the computer, comfortable with math and science, and has some ability in graphic work so that they can actually design that picture in a way that makes sense to a blind person, and then that we can actually feel that tactile. So it's a raised line drawing. But it's not just recreating, it's figuring out how to create it in such a way that it makes sense. It's really an amazing volunteer opportunity. It's just more challenging to find the right match.